Alright, finna do a little cooking video. Everybody's always going on about how to make cornbread. Everybody makes a big deal out of it. And I'm finna make this little video to show y'all. It's probably about the simplest dang thing you can make. And I'll show you. You can do it a whole lot of different ways and change a whole lot of different things about it. But I'll put this on here as basically about the simplest way that I know of you can do it. So, I gotta wipe that eye off over there. I was heating it up, but apparently it's got a little grease on there, so it started smoking. Alright, I'll wipe that off. Now what I always get this eye going over here about medium high, because the first thing I do is put a little oil in that pan. And I've been using this cooking olive oil. Trying to be a little bit more heart healthy and lay on some of that vegetable oil. They say that stuff's pretty bad for you. So anyway, I just get that on the bottom. Let me get a little paper towel over here. Alright, that on the bottom there, my skillet. Just give it a good bit on there, and I'll stick it over on that eye. Like I said, I got that on medium high, something like that. I'll let that heat up while I'm mixing this other stuff up. Alright, so the first thing, main ingredient, meal, cornmeal. I like that self-rising kind. So I put around about 2 cups of that in there. Get you a bowl to mix it up in. Somewhere about 2 cups of that. Then milk. Next important thing. You can use regular milk or buttermilk. I got buttermilk here. My grandma used to use milk. It was going bad. I remember one time I went in there and poured a glass of it and took a big swig of it before I realized what it was. That stuff was clabbered, man. It was nasty. I learned my lesson about that. So on the milk part, it's 1 3/4 cups. So what I do, because then it's another 1/4 cup of oil. You can use what kind of oil you want to. I've been using this olive oil. It tastes pretty good. Ain't nobody complained about it. So I go ahead and do 1 cup of milk, and then 3/4 cup of milk, and fill it the rest of the way up with that oil. And that gives me another 1/4 cup of oil. And dump all that in there. And then I'm done with the cup. Then all you need is 1 egg. Now, I made it without an egg and it came out alright. Egg seems to keep it together a little bit better, maybe. Not quite as crumbly. No egg in there. And now one thing else I've been doing, you can get that baking powder or whatever. I've been putting a little dash of baking soda in there. I think it makes it rise up a little better. I just give it a little dash, you know. About a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, something like that. And just mix this stuff all around. Meanwhile, that skillet over there is heating up on that eye. And I also turned the stove on before I got started. I went ahead and turned it up to 450. Now, all these stoves vary in temperature. We got an old stove. We've had it a long time. I don't know how accurate that temperature reading is on it. I put it on 450, 425, 450, somewhere in between there. It usually does all right. Depending on how big of a hurry you have. Just make sure you get all this mess mixed up real good. That's the basic ingredients, man. Ain't nothing to it. simple. Now you can bake it in that Mexican style, put cheese in there and onions and peppers and stuff chopped up in. That's real good. Do all kinds of different things, change a little something here and there. Some people throw a little salt in it, you know, whatever. I put it in there sometimes. I can't hardly notice the difference in the taste, so it don't really make much difference. Now I got this daggone skillet over here heated up. I can get a hold of it without burning myself. As you can see, it's starting to smoke. One thing I always do is, let me make sure I got plenty of oil in the bottom. Yeah, it looks pretty greased up. I always take a little bit of this meal and throw it in there after I get the skillet hot. Gives a little bit of kind of a crusty part on the bottom. Now, another one of the tricks is, get that in there. Go ahead and pour this off in it. Make sure that sucker's hot. That's one of the big things. Try to get it all in there. I might could have do a little bit more milk in it. Made it a little more runny, you know, give or take. It looks about right though. It'll come out fine. Just makes it, if you make it a little more runny, it'll pour out a little easier. But that's fine, that's plenty good. I'm just trying to get all of it out. One little old silicone rubber looking spoon thing, spatula looking things work pretty good for that too. Alright, now I got that in there, so I always take and kind of slosh it around in there a little bit. Another little trick I've been doing, setting it back over here on the eye. Let it kind of boil it. Now I'm going to get this camera and see if I can point it over there where you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah. Now I'm going to let it sit there for a minute. Kind of bubble a couple times. And once it does that, once I see it bubble a couple times, I'll take that up and stick it in the oven. So anyhow, I won't bore y'all watching that part. I'll stop this thing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch for it to bubble a couple times. And then I'm going to pop it in the oven. And then I just go by the way it looks. I think it's about 20 minutes or so. But just when the top starts getting kind of golden brown, I'll come back and I'll show y'all what it looks like. And that'll be when it's ready to take out. Anyway, I'll stop it for now and then I'll come back. Alright, I got that out of the oven now. That's about where I usually let it get to about that color. Now I'll let it sit there a little while and cool off. Then you can take a plate and lay it on top of it and flip it over. Some people do it right away. It's just ever how you want to do it. It seemed like to me it works easier if I let it cool off a little bit before I do that. Seems like it'll fall right out of it, but I don't know exactly how long I had that in there. I just look at it and tell when it turns about that color, you know it's ready. Well, there you go. That's a simple, easy way to make cornbread. See y'all next time.